Hello and welcome to the Expert Legal Advice. Today would like to highlight some relevant provisions of FEMA relating to the export of goods and services from India. So, exports of goods and services from India is governed by Clause A of subsection 1 and subsection 3 of section 7 of the Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999, read with the notifications issued by the Reserve Bank of India from time to time and rules framed thereunder for the same. Export trade is governed by the regulated by the Directorate General of Foreign Trade, that is DGFT, and its regional offices functioning under the Department of Commerce, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. For any import or export from India, there is importer-exporter code is required, which to be issued or granted by the DGFT. So, in other way, I can say no person shall make any import or export without an IC code granted by the DGFT for the exporter or importer in India. So there is a requirement for invoicing currency, which is in always case to be in freely convertible currency. So all export contracts and invoices shall be denominated either in freely convertible currency or in Indian rupees, but export proceeds shall be realized in the freely convertible currency. Indian rupees is not freely convertible currency as intended. So freely convertible currency which are prevailing nowadays are the US dollars, pound sterling, Japanese yen, and euro, etc. So export proceeds has to be realized in the freely convertible currency only. And realization, repatriation of proceeds of exports of goods and services, there is a prescribed timeline. So within 9 months from the date of exports, full value of goods, software or services has to be realized and repatriated to India within 9 months. In the recent times, there is a COVID-19 relief granted by the government of India. So the period has been extended from 9 months to 15 months from the date of export for export made till July 31st, 2020. So all exports as was made till July 31st, 2020, the exports proceeds can be realized and repatriated to India within 15 months. And if any goods exported outside India for the warehouse located outside India, so in that case the export proceeds have to be realized and repatriated to India within 15 days from the date of shipment of goods to the warehouse located outside India. And manner of receipt of payment, the amount representing the full export value of the goods exported shall be received through an AD bank in normal banking channels. So receipt of advance against exports. So Indian party or Indian exporter can receive advance payment from the buyer outside India for the exports as to be made. So where an exporter receive advance payment with or without interest from a buyer outside India, the exporter shall be under an obligation to ensure that the shipment of goods is made within 1 year from the date of receipt of advance payment from outside buyer. The rate of interest, if any, payable on the advance payment shall not be more than the LIBOR plus 100 basis points. And the documents covering the shipment are routed through the AD bank through whom the advance payment is received. if exporter fails to export the goods or services as per the agreed timeline against the advance received, in that case the exporter is obligated to refund the unutilized amount or interest if any, but that refund of unutilized amount or interest in case the exporter failed to export the goods or services cannot be made unless there is a prior approval from the Reserve Bank of India. So, in other words, it can be said that the prior permission of Reserve Bank of India is mandatory for making any refund for unutilized amount of advance received for exports of goods or services or any interest if due there. AD Bank should ensure compliance with anti-money laundering, AML and KYC guidelines. Such exports advances shall not be permitted to be used to liquidate rupee loans classified as NPA. So this is very critical point which has to be kept in mind by the entire exporter, that if any payment received as an advance towards the exports of goods and services, then that amount cannot be utilized for to liquidate rupee loans which is classified as NPA. So unless the exports of goods and services has been made, so there is a restriction for utilization of amount for payment of rupee loan, I can say, obtained from the bank or financial institution which is classified as the NPA. And one more thing, receipt of such advance of USD 100 million or more should be immediately reported to the tax division, Foreign Exchange Department, Reserve Bank of India, Central Office, Mumbai. So if there is any payment which is received as an advance toward the exports of goods or services and the amount is USD 100 million or more, that has to be reported immediately to the Foreign Exchange Department, Tax Division, Reserve Bank of India, Central Office. And the AD category 1 bank will have to report all the inward remittances including the advance as well as the old outstanding inward remittances received for exports of goods software to EDPMS, that is Export Data Processing and Monitoring System. So AD bank needs to report the electronic FIRC to the EDPMS whenever such FIRCs are issued against the inward remittances. Quarterly return being submitted for delay in utilization of advances received for exports now stand cancelled. So there is no requirement for filing of quarterly returns. Receipt of advance for long-term contract. AD Bank can also allow exporter having a minimum 3 years satisfactory track record to receive long-term export advance up to a maximum tenure of 10 years to be utilized for execution of long-term supply contract for export of goods, subject to the conditions that firm irrevocable supply orders and contract should be in place. The contract should clearly specify the nature, amount and delivery timeline of the product over the years and a penalty in case of non-performance or contract cancellation. The product pricing should be in consonance with the prevailing international prices. Exporters should have capacity, system and processes in place to ensure that the orders over the duration of the said tenure can be actually be executed. So there should not be fake or just a paper contract. Exporter should not be under caution list or adverse notice of ET or CBI. The rate of interest payable should not exceed LIBOR plus 200 basis points. So there is basic difference for receiving advance against the export of goods or services in normal course and in execution of long-term project. So in normal course, interest rate should not be more than the LIBOR plus 100 basis points, And for long-term project, the interest rate should not be more than the LIBOR plus 200 basis points. Manner of receipt, so all payment as an advance has to be received through normal banking channels. Payment through debit credit card by overseas buyers during their visits India can also be done. And online payment gateway for value not exceeding USD 10,000. So through payment gateway up to USD 10,000 payment can be made. And settlement under ACU, that is Asian Clearing Union mechanism, by AMU, Asian Monetary Union, for ACU members countries, that is ACU dollar, ACU euro and ACU Japanese yen is also permitted. Third party payment for exports, power of AD Bank to permit such third party payment for export import subject to the condition that there is a tri-party agreement in place, bank to satisfy the bona fide of the transactions, remittance to route through normal banking channels only, and FATF compliance, that is Financial Action Task Force compliance should be there. Counter trade arrangement proposal involving adjustment of value of goods imported against the value of goods exported in terms of agreement between the Indian party and the overseas party through an escrow account opened in India in US dollar will be considered by the Reserve Bank, subject to the condition that all imports and exports should be at international price in conformity with the foreign trade policy under FEMA. No interest will be payable on balance standing to the credit of the escrow account. However, funds temporarily rendered surplus may be held in short term deposit up to a total period of 3 months in a year. No fund-based or non-fund-based facilities would be permitted against the balance in the escrow account. Application for permission for opening of an escrow account can be made by overseas exporter through its AD category 1 bank to the regional concerned of the RBI. There is a provision for set off of export receivable against the import payables. So AD bank has power to allow set off of export receivable against the import payables, subject to the conditions that all arrangement should be managed through the category AD category 1 bank. AD bank is satisfied with the bona fide of the transaction and ensure that there are no KYC or AML or CFT concerns. The invoices under the transaction are not under investigation by ED or CBI or any other investigation agencies. Import exports of goods services has been undertaken as per the extant foreign trade policy. The import export transactions with ACU countries are kept outside the arrangement. One very important thing which has to be kept in mind for set off, the set off of export receivable against the goods shall not be allowed against the import payables for services and vice versa. So if export receivable is for goods, then it can be set off against import payable for the goods only, not for the services. And the same thing, if the export payable is for services, then it can be set off against the import payable for services only and not for the goods. AD bank shall ensure that import payables export receivables are outstanding at the time of allowing set off. Further, set off shall be allowed between the export and import legs taking place during the same calendar year. Set off can be made for the export and import done in the same year, not for the outstanding amount for the previous years. Documentary credit, that is letter of credit. The documentary credit is used when the satisfactory or the transaction amount are very high, or when one party has doubt about the morality or solvency of the other. It provides security for both exporter and the importer. The seller, that is exporter, receives an advance assurance of payment upon presentation of documents listed in the agreement, and the buyer is assured that the payment will not pay unless the seller has submitted all the documents strictly complying with the documentary credit. The credit worthiness of the importer is substituted by the guarantee of a bank, usually his bank. So for the high volume transactions, letter of credit or bank guarantee can be given by the bank of the buyer to the bank of the seller. So in case the seller has submitted all the documentary credit to the banker, then the bank will remit the amount to the seller. Export of goods on lease and hire. So prior approval of RBI is required for export of machinery, equipment, etc. on lease or hire basis under an agreement with the overseas lessee against the collection of lease rental, hire charges, and ultimate re-import. Exporter are required to apply through AD category 1 bank to the regional office concern of the Reserve Bank, giving full particulars of the goods to be exported on lease. So prior approval of Reserve Bank of India is required in case the goods or machinery or equipment is being sent to the overseas on lease basis or higher charges basis, and everything should be written in the form of an agreement that what is the rate of lease rent or higher charges, and when it will be payable, will be the due date for payment, and what is the tenure of the lease or the hire purchase hire agreement, and when that machinery or equipment will be re-imported to the India. There is also provision for refund of export proceeds. So AD Bank, through whom the export proceeds were originally realized, may consider request for refund of export proceeds of the goods exported from India and being re-imported into India on account of poor quality. Suppose Indian party had exported any goods to the overseas, and later on it is found that the goods are in poor quality. In that case, the AD Bank will consider the request and allow that goods to be re-imported to the India. And while permitting such transactions, AD Bank shall exercise due diligence regarding the track record of the exporter and verify the bona fide of the transactions, obtain from the exporter a certificate issued by the DGFT or custom authorities that no export incentive has been availed by the exporter against the relevant export, or the proportionate incentive, if availed, have been surrendered by the exporter. Not insist on the requirement of re-import of goods where exported goods have been auctioned and destroyed by the port, custom, health authorities, any other accredited agency in the importing country, subject to the submission of satisfactory documentary evidence. In all other cases, AD banks shall ensure that procedures applicable in normal imports are adhered to, and that an undertaking for the exporter to re-import the goods within 3 months from the date of refund of export proceeds shall be obtained. And one more thing which the AD Bank looked into, that is, exporter should not be in the caution list. An exporter would be caution listed by the RBI based on the recommendation from the AD Bank concerned, depending upon the exporter's track record with the AD Bank and the investigating agency. If the track record is poor, or there is some investigation is carried on by the investigating agencies like CBI or ED or any other investigating agencies, then AD Bank make recommendation to the RBI to make that exporter into the caution list, and for that exporter, export is prohibited unless that exporter is delisted on the recommendation of the AD Bank to the Reserve Bank of India. Reporting requirement for exports. All reporting to be done through the AD Bank as per the stipulated guidelines. Although there is provision and option available for the compounding of offense in case of any delay or non-compliance for exports of goods and services as prescribed under FEMA, but the exporter has to take cautions and make compliances as per the stipulated timelines as prescribed by the Reserve Bank of India. And one thing I would like to highlight here, that the Reserve Bank of India from time to time issued master directions or master circulars on exports of goods and services, which is available on the notification sections of the RBI's portal. So the provisions and procedures can be checked and seen there. EBRC, issuance of electronic bank realization certificate. AD Bank are required to update the EDPMS with the data of exports proceeds as and when realized basis, and with effect from October 16, 2017. They are required to generate electronic bank realization certificate only from the data available in EDPMS to ensure consistency of the data in EDPMS and consolidated EBRC. So this is the requirement for the AD Bank to update the EDPMS as and when the payment, whether it is received for the advance against the long-term project, whether it is received for the advance payment against the exports of goods and services in normal course, or it is received after making the exports of goods and services by the Indian party to the overseas buyer or overseas customer, and the payment made by the overseas customer to the Indian party. So this obligation is on the AD Bank to update the EDPMS and report to the EDPMS as soon as the FIRC is generated against the receipt of payment. And one thing is to be kept in mind: when any advance payment is more than USD 100 million or more, so that payment, receiving of that payment, has to be reported to the Tax Division, Foreign Exchange Department, Reserve Bank of India, Central Office, Mumbai, immediately. So I have tried to cover most of the things as prescribed under FEMA and the master direction issued by the Reserve Bank of India relating to the exports of goods and services by Indian party to the overseas customer, overseas buyers. However, if anyone feel or need any kind of legal support or advice or help in this subject, they can easily or anytime contact me. I am available to help them out. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Thank you so much. Take care.